I'll say if anyone who's preparing for BITS is watching this,
He's a third year student at BITS Pilani.
people don't really consider BITS to be a serious exam.
He's also a content creator on YouTube and LinkedIn, and his combined following over there is very close to 15K.
They want you to study for IITs, at least the old IITs. Good thing that I had in life was my parents never expected me to go to IIT.
Okay, so welcome to the podcast, Dhruv. Why are you here?
I'm here because you invited me and I couldn't say.
अरे भाई पहले तो first I want to tell the audience about our first meetup. So our first meetup, I will tell how it happened. Do you want to tell?
No, you can start. I'll add some extras information while you tell the story.
Okay, so there is this place in our campus which is like the cafeteria. It is called Ice and Spice, and it's a very famous place on the campus BITS Pilani, Goa. And we both met at BITS Pilani, Goa only. So I had seen this guy. He creates content and everything, but I had never met him on campus. And मैंने इसको देखा था कि ये साइड में बैठा था. Okay, मैंने इसको देखा कि ये साइड में बैठा था, but I was like, let's go and sit. Probably I was thinking in my mind only that I'll talk to this person because he's also a content creator and stuff like that. And so I came, I ordered like कुछ तो खाने के लिए मैंने ऑर्डर किया था, मेरे को याद नहीं अभी. And I was wearing this hoodie of my campus, and उस पे लिखा था, that's my channel name only, Insane-ish करके लिखा था. And I was ordering, and this guy sitting behind me, and I'll show you what he did. Okay, he's like, he shows me my profile like this. He's like, मैं खड़ा रह के देख रहा हूँ इसको, and he's like, is this you? And I'm like, yeah, bhai, nice to meet you and stuff like that. And I didn't know you were from Goa. I thought you were a person, like I thought you were from Mumbai or something like that. And I thought you moved to मेरे को नहीं पता था भाई कि तू गोवन है. So that is how we first met.
I was like, for me, like, I mean, I think you can relate. I think you can relate with this, that there are I think hardly like 10, 15 Goans on campus out of thousands. That whenever you see a Goan on campus, you kind of get a little excited. कि अच्छा ये भी same जगह से आता है. There are very few people who actually come from Goa. So looking at your profile, I was like, okay, fine. I know you're from Goa because your surname is Goan. And then I was like, okay, plus you make videos, so that's like a
bonus.
Like a lot of things to relate to. So I just approached you. I thought you were in third year that time, but you were in fourth. So I did not expect you to be there. So I just reached out and I just approached.
And I think we vibed on this fact that we both don't study.
Yeah. And maybe the stock market a little bit because that's what I asked you.
Yeah. So finally, I will introduce our guest for today. So Dhruv Payangle, he's a third year student at BITS Pilani, Goa. And he's also a content creator on YouTube and LinkedIn. And his combined following over there is very close to 15K. Very close. And alongside his college work, college experience, and whatever he's doing in college, he also has a startup called Fodu Club, which is a student community. And we will dive into it. But before that, I want to start from the start. How did you get into BIT?
Okay. So, I think the first time I came to know about BITS was when I was in my 8th standard. So, I was really into Rubik's Cube, right? So, I don't know if I have one right now. Okay, yeah, you go. Rubik's Cube. So
you do a 2 into 2?
I do a 2x2, 3x3 pyramids, 4x4.
सब कुछ कर दे.
Very slow, yeah. So, like hardly any competitions होते थे in Goa. There was one in BITS Goa during Quark, and there was one in I think Goa College of Architecture during their fest. So I was living in Vasco that time, and my friend was like, "कि यहाँ हो रहा है competition. Let's
Hmm.
just participate and see how it goes."
Hmm.
So that was the first time I actually entered the campus, and I couldn't like it was a different feeling altogether. Just when I
Hmm.
entered the campus, I could see it was the first time I actually went in any college, and it was the first time I was interacting with students. So
Hmm.
I was very amazed with the overall vibe of the air. जो भी वहाँ पे एक जो होती है ना फीलिंग एक कैंपस का एक होता है एक वाइब.
Hmm.
I could feel that, and I think that's where somewhere that's where like I kind of realized this place is different than I've all the places I've been to,
Hmm.
and that's the first time I actually thought about going to BITS.
Hmm.
But at that point, I did not have any clue about JEE, BITSAT, क्या होता है वो सब. So after my 10th standard, I decided to study for BITSAT, JEE, and then there were only two coachings in Goa. One is Aryans, one is PACE. I tried answering Aryans, but I did not have any base in PCM back then, so I couldn't
Hmm.
make it. But I got into PACE, and I was like, okay, let's start preparing for JEE and BITSAT. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's pretty much how I came to know about BITS and how I tried to get into it. To be very honest, I was never ever into joining IITs or NITs. Like I
Hmm.
never really cared for them because I was never introduced to them by anyone.
Oh.
Even in IIT Goa, NIT Goa, they aren't really that good. So I used to always Google about BITS Goa, and then I knew everything about BITS before I was in college.
Hmm.
So I when I went to I went to Cubics, the cube competition at Quark.
Hmm.
I think I went there like 3 times, and I met so many contacts over there. I used to always ask them questions, whatever I had, not related to bedside, but in general, because of me being curious about what all happens there.
Hmm.
So I never won a competition. I think I came second in pyramids एक बार pyramid at bits, but उसके अलावा तो नहीं. So
Hmm.
फिर वही है जेई पीसीएम किया जेई दिया कोविड चल रहा था जेई में the performance was bad but I did not take it to my heart because I was never really targeting it.
Hmm.
BitSat में also the performance was a little like under expected, but things worked out eventually and I took BitSwa.
Hmm.
And also like to be more specific, I never thought about Pilani campus and Hyderabad campus.
So
For me,
because you
BITS
were
was
in, yeah.
yeah. And it's like it's just that I just came to this place. I was walking around here and there, and it's like every single person over here, I knew he was smart in some other way. He just felt smart. Like
Hmm.
if I talk to someone, I know that the other person has more knowledge than me, and I always wanted to be in a place where people are like better than me. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think everyone on campus has this. They are like street smart. मतलब वो
yeah,
लोग academics उतना करेंगे नहीं, but there are people obviously who do the academics and everything, but there will not be the most of the people will be doing something apart from their college curriculum.
yeah,
They will be either doing a startup or YouTube or some stock market or some
yeah.
investing.
Mm.
कुछ भी
Yes,
कुछ तो करेंगे which is something
mm.
that they like to do.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So, how did you crack BitSat? Like, can you tell me about that? Because you said that JEE ka journey was
Yeah.
like a little tough for you because you were not that focused on JEE also, and it was like a little bit of tougher questions. How would you compare? So, any person who's probably answering BitSat or something like that, how would you compare JEE and how would you compare BitSat for them, and how is the approach different for them?
Okay, so the one very important learning that I had from JE prep was that JE is not about getting into the best college. I think it's about getting the best out of you.
Hmm.
So it's about realizing what's the best for you and just trying to get into that, right?
Hmm.
So I realized that the type of person I am, I don't want to go into academics. I want to go into business. I want to do content creation. So
Hmm.
eventually, the best college for me would be BITS because of less attendance, like no attendance policy, because it has a history of short startups. It has a history of content creators.
Hmm.
So I wanted to be in that network. I knew how strong BITS alumni network was. I knew that BITSians are the founders and heads of a lot of VCs.
Yeah.
So I knew that somewhere I belonged here,
Hmm.
and that's why from the start itself was targeted. I was targeting with that.
Hmm.
Now the thing is, when you go to coachings, people don't really consider BitSat to be a serious exam. They are more focused.
Hmm.
Like at least the teachers are more focused on JE prep. They want you to
Hmm.
study for IITs, at least the old IITs,
Hmm.
and they are not like, I wouldn't even say JEE mains. They are more focused on JEE advanced.
Yeah.
So they'll always teach you JEE advanced things. Like it doesn't matter if you understand or not. They'll just continue with the portion. But after some point, you actually realize what is your level and at what point do you want to go. So I think amidst my like in the middle of my 11th, I realized that maybe PCM is not really for me. I can only do it for the next 1 to 2 years up till a level where I can get into a decent college. So because I understood that fact and I accepted it, that was the first step. I'll say if anyone who is preparing for BITSAT is watching this, the first step is acceptance. You need to accept what the truth is. I mean, it's like you need to understand your situation. That's the very important point people don't do. And after understanding it, like just take actions. A very good thing that I had in life was my parents never expected me to go to IIT. I mean, they never wanted me to go to an IIT or NIT. They were like, they told me they would be more than happy if I got into BITS. So I never had that pressure from their end. So I prepared for JEE. JEE was bad because of multiple reasons. I was going through a tough time. Online chal raha tha sab kuch, and I couldn't cope up with things online. Mein. I could have done much well in JEE, but I messed up because I guessed a lot of questions under pressure mein aake. But then I had 4 attempts during my JEE, and I just answered one. After the first attempt, I completely focused on BitSat. So how I changed my BitSat, how I changed my JEE prep to BitSat was just doing more and more chapters and practicing more and more questions. So I had my coaching modules right. I had solved them in my class, but I never really solved them again. So for my BitSat, I solved them again. Not everything. I just did a level 1, level 2, maybe level 3 if I wanted to understand more. And that's what I did. I did not go to any new book. I did not go to any new teacher. I just, if I don't understand something, I'll go to YouTube, search this one, coordination compounds, one shot. I'll watch that 1.5 hour, 2 hour ka video and then just start solving level 1, level 2. So yeah, pretty much. For English LR, I was pretty good at LR because of I think it's quite natural, right? In English LR, it just depends on how you can approach the questions. And I thankfully had a good natural approach to questions, so that I did not really have to do that a lot. So yeah, pretty much. So I gave my BitSat. My score was actually very low as compared to the cutoffs. I put around 200 in BitSat, which is really really low. But it turned out that in that year, everybody scored low because I don't know. I don't know what the reason was. Like the lowest cutoff in my year was somewhere around 170. Okay, and I would have got around. I think I would have got Hyderabad physics or Hyderabad mechanical, but I chose to take Goa bio because when I was preparing for me, it was like either I'll take Goa eco or I'll take Goa bio. I don't want to study PCM anymore, so I did not get eco. A little more higher, and I would have got Hyderabad eco, but I did not do that. I stayed at Goa bio. I froze it, and I got. So I still remember the day of my bedside. It was in Bits Goa itself. That was a very sad day. Like it's one of the most, one of the most um, harsh days of my life. My dad came to drop me. I was revising organic name reactions in the car. And then I went to CC Computer Center where I answered BitSat. When the score flashed, I knew I wouldn't get in. So I came out. I told my dad it's not happening. It was very cloudy, very, it was August, so very rainy. I came back in the car and I was like, okay, I'm not getting into bits. So I just took a while to take everything in. There was silence in the car throughout the journey from Bits Goa to Panje, Panjim. When I came home, my mom was very excited and I told her I'm not getting it. She did not show the reaction, but I realized that she's not disappointed. She knew I have tried a lot, but she was somewhere she was sad because um, and I was answering the last shift. So all my friends who answered before me, they had scored really low, and all of them are very good at me in coaching, very good at as compared to me in coaching. So I was like, अगर इनका नहीं हो रहा है, तो मेरा कैसे होगा? But then I scored better than them in bit side.
This happened with me also. I'll tell you when you finish. Yeah.
No, I mean, there was a guy in my class. He used to like right next to me, both of us on the first bench. I think he was the smartest person I met till that point in life, and he could have done wonders. and he got around 95, 96% in JEE. I mean,
Hmm.
he could have done better.
Hmm.
And his forte was solving short questions fast. So he was very
Ah.
fast. So I was like, okay, I asked him how much did he score. I was like, इसको तो मिल ही गया होगा, मतलब he must have got about 250 आराम से. But then turned out that he scored around 160 कुछ तो 150. And I
Hmm.
was like, I'm not going there, dude. नहीं होगा. I was, but then when I got into bits, right, I was having dinner. It was around 9 p.m. 8:30 p.m. and I just checked देखते हैं ट्यूशन का रिजल्ट आया है क्या हुआ. I was written there. The only choices I picked was eco, mechanical, and bio. I did not want anything else. So bio mein I got Goa. I told my dad. For 30 seconds, nobody was believing what was happening. And then all my friends are calling me. कि क्या हुआ क्या हुआ क्या हुआ. And like, I told them I got it. And then my mom went and prayed to God, just like all moms do. She was like, it's a God who has done everything. He has got you. I was like, yeah, yeah. I
Bhai,
look
so cute,
it.
bhai.
I mean, I didn't know what to do at that point. I was like, you saw your son study for 2 years, 2.5 years, and you were saying that. But I was like, okay, I accept her feelings. I'm thankful.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it went about.
Yeah, so I loved that you shared this. So the two things I picked up from this, which I want to put out, one was acceptance, where you accept where you accept like where you are standing and you
Yeah.
prepare accordingly. Because मेरे साथ भी हुआ था. As soon as I answered JEE mains, my rank was around 15 or 16K, and I rather my parents wanted me to go into IITs. Like even I wanted to go into IITs because I had heard IITs was the best, and then bits came second for me. I didn't know the bitsian culture and nothing, but I'm very happy that I got into bits instead of IITs. Okay, and I have my own personal reasons for it, but that is another huge story that I'll tell you some other time. But yeah, and it was like I saw my rank and I was like, even if I study for JEE advanced like a lot, and from 16,000 तेरा कितना ही नीचे आएगा रैंक, लाइक यू विल गो टू 8,000 और 9,000, उसमें भी तेरे को अच्छा आईआईटी नहीं मिलेगा विद एन अच्छा रैंक, विद एन
True.
अच्छा ब्रांच, वो नहीं मिलेगा तेरे को. सो आई वाज लाइक, यू नो, रादर देन फोकसिंग ऑन आईआईटीज now I can, because I'll get an IIT which is very new, and I won't get those old classic very good IITs. I won't get them, and I won't get a good branch also, even if I score very well. So I was like, I will now focus on BitSat. तो मैंने पूरा focus BitSat पे कर लिया, and I was only focusing on BitSat, and that is why the other students in my batch who were better than me also, they scored lesser than me in BitSat. So it's the same thing that you faced, and I think we
Yeah.
connect on that, because even I was like, they focused on IITs like JEE Advanced and everything, और उधर भी उनका नहीं हुआ और इधर भी नहीं हुआ. So that messed up for them. So it's very smart of you to understand that you have to accept that, and it's not like you're putting yourself down, but you are redirecting yourself to a much better place. And
I'd like
second
to add
was
something.
how.
I'd like to add one thing to that. I think even you will relate to this. Like coming from Goa, uh, there's NIT Goa, IIT Goa, right? In Goa.
Hmm.
So let's say you get state quota in NIT,
Hmm.
and that state quota, and NIT was not convincing enough for me to study for that state quota.
Hmm.
So I never really manifested NIT Goa, and I was like, okay, it's just there. So I was like, either I go into an old IIT, which is a great
Hmm.
option,
Yeah, which is a
or
great
I
thing.
go to BITS, which is also a great option. Where I just considered compared effort versus output. I was
Hmm.
like, भाई टॉप आईआईटी में जाने के लिए अंडर 5,000 रैंक तो चाहिए ही चाहिए, अंडर 4,000 चाहिए ही चाहिए. एंड बिट्स में जाने के लिए आई जस्ट नीड लाइक अ 240 प्लस स्कोर इन बिट्स
Hmm.
एट, वही कट ऑफ था. एंड आई न्यू दैट मेरे लिए कोई, आई वाज नॉट ब्रांच स्पेसिफिक, आई जस्ट वांटेड टू गेट इन, आई जस्ट वांट टू
Yeah,
बी अ.
exactly.
So either I go from itna like I don't know, either I scale my JE rank by thousands, or I study for BitSat and get into a similar level of college. So
Hmm.
हो गया BITS निकल लिया इसमें. So NIT को मैं जाना ही नहीं था कभी भी. If NIT को was a great college, right, I would have still considered it as a backup, but I
Hmm.
never considered it as a backup.
Hmm. Yeah, that's one more thing. When you don't consider something as a backup, when you don't have a backup plan, you are able to give your full self to the plan A. If you have a plan B, then you are always like, your one eye goes over there.
Yeah. You
The
always
second,
tend to rest a little. मतलब थोड़ा
Yeah.
तुम लाइट लगते हो in our bits and terms.
Yeah. Yes. And the second thing that you had talked about, which was learning through YouTube. वो पहले होता था. पहले you never used
नहीं
to
होता
have
था.
all this YouTube and everything where people used to make content. So every
Yeah.
time you don't understand something, you don't need to wait to ask your sir. You can go on YouTube and you can find it out for yourself.
हाँ, like when I started prep 2019, उस समय उतना नहीं था. But then because of COVID, everything started
Yeah.
shifting online, and that's the time when I tried to leverage it थोड़ा थोड़ा. Okay. And but उस समय ऐसा था कि even the teachers were new to online
Yeah.
education and everything.
Yeah.
So
Now
they were not really
now it's
used
much
to it.
better.
Now it's much better. Now it's settled.
So coming from YouTube to your startup now, which
Okay.
is Fodu Club, can you explain how did you start Fodu Club? What was the journey?
Right. So, firstly, I never talk about Photo Club as a startup. I talk about it like a community, or I talk about it like an initiative.